Okay, in this lesson package on web app, we will first start by learning basic HTML. HTML is a language where we use to do some simple formatting on the text content or even picture to be displayed on the browser. But before we go any further, let's watch this video to get some basic understanding about HTML.
Russ did such a great job explaining some basic principles of the internet, HTML, and CSS in the last episode, so this week we're going to dig a little deeper. Hi, I'm Jessica Hish, also known as Jessica Hish, and I'm here to talk about what HTML tags are, how they're structured, and why they're structured that way. HTML coding might seem like a dark, scary universe if you've only experienced it by accidentally viewing the page source in your browser, but fear not, it's totally not scary. In the following example, we won't be using official HTML language, but it should help explain a bit about how it actually works. Say I wanted to have a hamburger for lunch. At some point, my lunch begins, and at some point, it sadly has to end. If I were writing about my meal in the same structure as you'd write HTML, it would look a little bit like this to start. In HTML, you use tags to label content. The tag is what is contained within these brackety things. In our fake HTML tag we just wrote, we state that anything that follows this tag is lunch. Whenever we start a tag, or open it as it's referred to, we have to end it or close it at one point or another, and the way that we do that is by putting a / before the tag. If we never closed our tag, the rest of our lives would be lived in a permanent state of lunch. So now that I've started lunch, let's define what I'm having. As you can see, while hamburger is within lunch, I still have to end the hamburger before I can end lunch. Otherwise, I'd be walking around with a hamburger all day. Let's use a real HTML tag to define our ingredients of the hamburger. There are actually a very limited set of real HTML tags, and I'll link to them in the notes below in case you want to go exploring. These come in very handy not only when you're structuring the text in the HTML doc, but also when you're styling it in your CSS document. Forget about that for now, we're just talking about lunch. I used the HTML tag OL, which stands for ordered list, and listed all of my ingredients as list items, or LI. It's important we use ordered list in this case so we don't accidentally end up with an open-faced sandwich. A similar tag is UL, or unordered list, and if we felt like getting dada about it, maybe we would make a hamburger this way. Now this is a pretty boring hamburger, but I think we've illustrated our point. Lettuce, that would be another list item. It's also important to note that we ended our LI tag on the same line because line breaks don't matter in HTML code. You could put a bajillion spaces between your paragraphs in the HTML document and the internet would not care. You have to define breaks and spaces separately, which we'll cover later. Organize your code so that it's easy for you to read. Sometimes line breaks make sense and sometimes they feel extraneous. Alright, let's recap. HTML tags are used to label content. A tag is contained within these brackets, and you wrap the content you want to label with an open tag and a close tag. There are a limited number of official HTML tags, and you only really need to know a few of them for now. It's important to organize code so it's easy for you and others to read. This makes it much easier to edit in the future. And lastly, I really like hamburgers. That's it for this episode. Don't forget to check out our next episode, Don't Fear the Browser, about using browser developer tools to peek under other sites' skirts. I'm Jessica Hish, signing out.
Within a HTML file, besides the content that we want to display on the browser, there are some formatting tags that will help us to define the formats, the look and feel of this web page. We will create our first HTML file. Go to a folder and right-click to create a new text document. In case you are not able to see the new text document extension, go to View and select File Name Extension. When you select the file name extension, the extension .txt will be displayed. Let's rename this file and change the file extension. Call it 0 HTML structure. and .html. We are now changing the extension of this file. Say yes. On my computer, the default program used to open the HTML file is the Notepad. Double-click to open the Notepad. A HTML file is defined by a HTML tag, open and close. And within this HTML tag, there is a head and close the head. There is a body and the closing tag for the body. What do we place within the head? We have the title and the closing tag for title. Okay, I shall copy the title over here. The title will be displayed on the tab. And then the body, this is a segment. The contents will be displayed on within the body segment. Don't worry about all these space that you see. They will not appear on the browser. Save the file. You should be able to see that in your folder. Start the browser. I will start a new page. Drag and drop this HTML file into the browser. There it goes. You are able to see the contents according to the body segment. You realize that all the white spaces are missing. And then where is the title display on tab? Title display. Let's enlarge this. Title display on tab. Okay. Now let's move on. Let's create another HTML file. Save as 1 header.html. Now change the type from text document.txt to all file so that it will be saved as a .html. Save. We shall change the title to 1.header. For the body portion, I will now include a h1 tag. And what shall I have here? The h1 tag for the main topic heading. Save this file and then go to your browser. We will try to display this file using the browser. Drag on this header.html, drag and drop into the browser. You realize that the h1 tag actually creates a header which is bold and larger in font size. You may want to try other sizes, H2, H3, H4, up to H6. Remember to save your file and refresh your browser. Now you can see that for each of these header, based on the size, you will see different sizes display on the browser. You may use this for your heading and subheadings. Next, let's save our file as paragraph. Save as to paragraph.html. Remember to change from text file to all files. Save. We will now call the title as to paragraph. And for the header, it will be how to use paragraph. H1 size. Delete the rest. I will now copy the body text and paste into the body segment. Don't worry about all this space. Basically, the whole paragraph will continue, starts and continue all the way up to here. This is one paragraph. Starting from the P tag to the closing P tag, this will be a second paragraph, followed by a third paragraph, and then we have the last paragraph here. Okay, let's save this file and display this on the browser. Paragraph.html, drag and drop. Okay, take a look at the code that we have. The last paragraph, this will be displayed as a new paragraph. You have that. And then from to indicate, you get that. And then we use the tag to define one paragraph by itself here. Okay, so I hope now you understand that all the white space will be ignored and we have to use the P tag to define our paragraphs. Let's save it as file number 3, save as 3 line breaks and horizontal rule .html. Change from text file to all files. Save. Okay, I'll copy the body text and paste that into the body segment. H1 header. How to use line break. And horizontal rule. We shall call this title as line break and horizontal rule. Okay, remember to save the file. Call out the browser and drag and drop the HTML file into the browser. Now compare your code. We have a HR over here. So the above is a horizontal rule. How do we define the horizontal rule? We use a HR. Now for horizontal rule, there is a open tag, but there is no need to do a close tag. So there's only HR. There's no backslash HR. Next, we have the break line, BR. Both the BR, break lines, and HR. So the break line, you will break to a new line, and then the HR will draw the rule. You realize that between these two, there are a couple of break line. So we have 1, 2, 3. That will create some spacing between paragraphs or between lines. Four, we are dealing with unordered list. Let's save as for unordered list. Remember to change your type to all files so that you'll be saved as a HTML file. Save. Okay, let's change our title to unordered list, and then a header, a list of fruits. For our body contents, we will make use of UL. UL stands for unordered list. So we make use of UL to specify the unordered list. And when you open a UL, you must close UL. For each of the item that will be displayed, okay, we make use of the LI, list item, and then there is a closing LI. And since we have 3 items, we will have 3 of this tag. For the list item number 1, it will be the bananas. Second one, strawberries. And lastly, we have papayas. Okay, let's save this file. Save. Call out the browser. Drag and drop the unordered list HTML file into the browser. So this list item, they will be displayed with the bullet sign because this is an unordered list. If we have an unordered list, we can also have an ordered list. Okay, let's save this file as 5. Save as an ordered list. Okay, remember to change the file type to the HTML file. So we have number 5, the ordered list. A list of fruits. But instead of UL, which is stand for unordered list, we change it to OL, which is ordered list. And the rest of the list item, they remains the same. Save this file. Go to the browser for display. Drag and drop the ordered list HTML into the browser. Now the ordered list will be 1, 2, 3. These are the 3 items in the ordered list. Many times we need to create table. And how do we create table? So let's save this file as 6 tables. Save the file type as a HTML file. Save. 6. So for the topic heading, I would like to display table. Now for a table, you will have to start with a table tag and close it with a table tag. And then within this table itself, there are rows, so we use the TR, and that will be 1 row. So in this case, we want to create 3 rows. So let me repeat, copy and paste the TR, open and closing TR. So we have 3 rows. Now in each row, we can have columns. Now because I'm using the first row as a header, so I will use TH as a header. So I have a name header, I have a class header within the table itself, and then I have the index. Close the header. So what do we have? We have 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, for the second row, that will be our data. So I shall use TD. TD stands for table data. Bill. Bill is our first student. And then in our class, he is from which class? 20S15. Let's have his index number. His index number 3. Okay, that's for Bill. We will now create another student. Let's say I have Carl. And then the class, well, let me use 20S17 and index number 5. Okay, let's take a look and see how it will display on a browser. Save, call out the browser, drag and drop the file tables into the browser. Can you see that? We have 3 rows, 3 columns. We can do something on the table itself. Probably we want the border, so we can add in the border for the table. So let's say there's border. We add that to the table tab. Border equal to 1 pixel. Okay, let's take a look. Save this file. Save. And let's go to the browser and take a look. Refresh. There it goes. So you have a border line for the table cells. Okay. Now you realize that the border is actually double line. We can actually change it to single line. Okay. So you may need to take note on this. The style equal to the border collapse. We want to define the border collapse to the status of collapse. By default, it is not collapse. Okay, so we define it. Okay, watch out on the open and close quote. Okay, let's save this file and take a look and see what happened to our display on the browser. Refresh. Now you realize that this is single line. Okay, what else can we do to our table? Now, in the event where we want to merge 2 cells, for example, for Cal, the class and index, we want to merge it together into a single cell, we can do that. Okay, so after the name Cal, we change the table item. So we have a table item, but this table item is going to span across 2 columns. So column span is equal to 2. So it will take up 2 cells, and then Cal is actually a teacher. Okay, so it doesn't have a class, it doesn't have an index, and so I will put that as the data for the table itself. Let's take a look and see how it will show on our browser. Save, browser, refresh. Now you realize that the 2 cells have been merged together. Seven, hyperlink references. Okay, let's change the file name. Save as 7. Hyperlink reference. Change it to asterisk.asterisk for the file type. That will save us the HTML file. Okay, the title, we shall call it the hyperlink reference. The header, H1 header, I will call it the hyperlink reference. Let me delete away the table. Okay. So we create a paragraph using the p tag, and this is a whole content. When using the hypertext reference href hypertext reference attributes, you need to include the http dot double slash in front of the URL of the external website. So this is just an instruction. Okay, let's put a break so that you go into a new line. Now, in order to create a hyperlink reference, we make use of the href. Okay, where do we want to link to? Okay, we want to link it to Google. So it's http colon double slash World Wide Web www and then google.com close. So this is the external link, and then we give the instruction for the user to click here to visit Google. Okay, and then we close the A tag. A tag. Okay, we start off with an A, we close with an A. Okay, and then we put that into the body segment of the HTML file. Let's save and let's go to the browser. Drag and drop the hyperlink reference HTML file into the browser. There it goes. The A tag, A hyperlink reference will point to Google, and then you instruct the user to click here to visit Google. So if I were to click on this link, it will go to Google's website. Okay, so that's how you embed a link within a HTML file. Save as 8 image. Remember to change the type to HTML. Now a web page will be very boring if there is no image. Okay, now let's change the title. Number 8 image. And then we have the header and the paragraph to describe what is in this page. Now we shall save the image file, the cat and the dog, in the image folder. Let's create a folder called image. We have provided the cat's image for you to download and save it in the image folder. Okay, cat's image is provided, but the dog image is not provided. Now let's put these codes into our HTML file. Now in order to link to an image file, we use img and specify our source src equal to, now be careful to specify the directory, which is image folder, and then the cats.png. So that is the image file for the cat. And because the image file has different size, we want to specify the size. We can define the height to be 50% of the file, and then the width to be 25%. And then there is this alternate text to be displayed in case the image file is not found. This is a picture of a cat. Let me put in another image called the dog. The source is the same as an image folder, but the file name is dog.png, okay? And then this is a picture of a dog. Now within our folder itself, well, we only have the cat's picture, we don't have the dog's picture, so the image of the dog will not display, but the text of this a picture describing the picture will display. Okay, let's save this file. Go to our browser. Add image, drag and drop. So you realize that the cat's image is displayed, but there's no image of the dog, but a description, the text description, a picture of a dog will be displayed. Okay, so in case of missing image, this text will be helpful for us to identify what is supposed to be here. That's all for this lesson on the basic HTML. You may like to go to some online tutorial to learn more about the HTML.